Welcome to Echoes of the Past, where history isn't just old, it's oddly fascinating.
From forgotten facts to bizarre backstories, we dig into the dusty corners of time, so
So you
you
don't
don't
have
have
to.
to.
I'm Jody Lynn, your amateur historian and full time trivia hoarder.
And I'm Ephraim, here for the facts and the fun.
So let's rewind the clock and press play on the past. Today we're talking about space, the final frontier, or at least it was. For most of human history, the sky was a ceiling we couldn't touch. But in just the last century, we've gone from looking up in wonder to launching rockets, landing on the moon, and sending robotic explorers to the far edges of our solar system.
In this episode, we're launching into the wild, incredible history of space travel, from Cold War competition to cat videos beamed into the stars. We'll talk about dogs in orbit, golden records for aliens, and robots that sing happy birthday to themselves on Mars.
So buckle up, because whether you're a casual stargazer or a full on space nerd, we're heading on a journey through the triumphs, the tragedies, and the weird little moments that got us from Earth to infinity and beyond. So let's go ahead and start off with the early theories and foundations, so before the 20th century. Early concepts of space travel date back to ancient civilizations, but serious speculation began in the 17th century. Johannes Kepler in 1609 and Isaac Newton in 1687 provided mathematical groundwork for understanding orbits and gravity. Konstantin Tchaikovsky in 1903 is considered the father of astronautics. He developed the rocket equation and theorized about the use of rockets for space exploration. For centuries, space was the stuff of dreams, a place only reachable in the pages of fiction or the minds of philosophers. But in the 20th century, those dreams ignited engines. And suddenly, reaching the stars wasn't just a question of if, it became a matter of when. Moving from before the 20th century and into it, we're going to start talking about the space race. So, 1940s to 1960s. World War II's rocket technology started with the V 2 rockets, which were developed by Nazi Germany, led by Werner von Braun, because became the foundation for later space travel. Then, the post-war era, the US and the USSR began developing space programs. This period is marked by the Cold War rivalry and the start of the space race. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite. Then in 1961, Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, I wanted to add too many N's in there, becomes the first human to orbit Earth in Vostok 1. Then in 1969, the U.S. lands Apollo 11 on the moon with astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, making history as the first humans to walk on the lunar surface. Now, let's look into some unique moments in space history and look at the fun little messages and robots. So, let's first talk about Happy Birthday Voyager. One of the more lighthearted moments in space history came from the Voyager 1 spacecraft, which was launched in 1977 to explore the outer planets. As part of its journey, NASA engineers programmed Voyager 1 with a variety of messages and sounds to represent Earth. In 1990, Voyager was so far out in space that it couldn't directly communicate with Earth, but in a humorous moment of self-celebration, NASA engineers sent a signal to the spacecraft causing it to play the tune of Happy Birthday to itself on its 30th anniversary. This little moment, often called the birthday song for a robot, became a symbol of both the isolation and incredible achievement of space exploration.
Other fun messages sent to space. NASA space programs have sent numerous fun messages, songs, and symbolic sounds into the universe to represent humanity's hopes, fears, and creativity. These include the Golden Records that was sent abroad
Aboard.
aboard both Voyager spacecraft, which features sounds from and music from Earth, from Beethoven to a traditional song from the people of Peru. The Hello message sent by
Arecibo?
the Arecibo Observatory in 1974. This is a radio message to potential extraterrestrial life encoded in binary form to represent human DNA, our solar system, and our understanding of numbers.
That one sounds really cool.
And then in 2008, NASA's Phoenix Mars lander sent back a message with the first ever recorded sound from Mars, the sound of wind on the red planet.
These fun yet profound moments in space history reminds us that space travel isn't just about exploration and science. It's also about connecting with humanity and sometimes sharing a smile across the cosmos. Next, we're going to look at the Apollo program and the moon landings from the 1960s to the 1970s. The Apollo program, launched by NASA, successfully put a man on the moon in 1969. Some key moments of this was Apollo 8 in 68, which was, of course, the first humans to orbit the moon. Then 11 in 69, which was the first successful moon landing. Apollo 13 in 70, a successful failure. An accident led to the heroic return of the crew. And Apollo 17 in 72, the last manned mission to the moon. After that, we move to 1981 to 2011 with the Space Shuttle era. The Space Shuttle program revolutionized space travel with reusable spacecraft. The first shuttle flight, which was Columbia, launched in 1981 on STS 1. Key missions include the launch of the Hubble Space Telescope in 1990 and the construction of the International Space Station. We also had the tragic accidents like Challenger in 1986 and Columbia in 2003, which highlighted the dangers of space travel. Then we move on to 1998 to present with the international cooperation and the ISS. The International Space Station, of course ISS, becomes a huge symbol of global cooperation orbiting Earth since 1998. Contributions from NASA, Russia, Japan, Europe, and Canada all contributed to this. The ISS conducted experiments that benefit both space exploration and life on Earth. We also have the private space travel and the new space age, which started from 2000s to present, which included companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic, which are revolutionizing space travel, aiming for commercial space tourism and Mars exploration. With SpaceX's Falcon 9 in 2010 and Dragon capsule, these led the way with reusable rockets and private space missions. Then you have NASA's Artemis program in 2020s, which aims to return astronauts to the moon, this time with plans for a sustainable presence. Then, of course, you have Elon Musk's ambitions with SpaceX's goal to make humanity a multi-planetary species by colonizing Mars. We've all seen movies like that recently.
Mm-hmm.
Future of space travel starts with Mars missions and NASA's plans for sending humans to Mars, SpaceX's Starship, and Elon Musk's timeline for colonizing the Red Planet. Then you also have the space tourism, companies like Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin, aiming to send private citizens to space in the near future. Then you have new technologies like nuclear propulsion, space habitats, and interstellar travel. So, before we move on to the next ones, I do want to bring up some really cool, scary facts about space. So, funny enough, 4 reasons why aliens might not have visited Earth is maybe we're alone. Intelligent life is very rare. They couldn't survive maybe their mass extinctions. And then we're simply not worth their time. One of the jokes that you brought up the other day, and it makes me laugh every time, is that aliens probably go by Earth and lock their doors.
Yep.
Then you've got the fact that the observable universe is more than 93 million light years across. And so far, no human has ventured farther than 1.3 light seconds from Earth. That's a big difference. Very big difference. And if you were to travel at the speed of light, it would take you 1.3 seconds to get to the moon, 8.3 minutes to get to the sun, 2,000 years to get out of the Milky Way, and 90 billion years to get to the edge of the observable universe. That last one is so inconceivable to me. Like, I can't even, I mean, heck, the Milky Way one is hard to conceive, but holy cow. Interesting enough, there are 6 places in our current solar system where life may or may not exist, but it's highly probable. Mars has lakes that are underneath the surface. Then you've got the floating life above the clouds in Venus. You've got on Titan inside the hydrocarbon lakes. Europa close to hydrothermal vents in the underground oceans. And in Ganymede in its liquid core protected by the moon's magnetic field. Here's another really cool fact. Light entering our eyes from the top half of the Andromeda galaxy is approximately 250,000 years older than the bottom half. Dark matter could warm certain planets in the place of a sun, allowing life to arise on a sunless planet. That one's kind of crazy to me. Because when you think of, dark matter, that's not what I think. I think of extremely cold. Just I think because, the galaxy is supposed to be cold.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Well, dark matter, it was, I think, more like science fiction, where they use it for anything else.
Blowing up the world.
Blowing up the world, powering weapons, doing shit you're probably not supposed to be doing with it.
That's true. So, another weird little fun fact is if you fall into a black hole, you will be able to see both the universe beginning and ending due to the time dilation. So, moving on from that, we're going to talk about some key moments. So, we've talked about quite a bit so far about like the different moments in history. The key moments of space travel has been the Cold War rivalry between the US and the USSR. Of course, the moon landing, which was a huge defining moment in human history and has so much controversy around it. The role of private companies in shaping the next phase, and of course, the ongoing developments around Mars exploration and space tourism. Now, I want to ask you, did the moon landing happen?
Yes.
Did it happen in Hollywood or on the moon?
On the moon.
What I have to ask, what is your opinion about the people who think that the moon landing did not actually happen?
They have nothing better to do with their time. Because if you really think the moon landing didn't happen and you have supposedly all these like, oh, it's CGI or whatever. I don't know if you've seen CGI from then. It does not look great.
No, it doesn't.
It looks horrid. And why? I was about to say, why would the government take their time to do these things? They've done worse for stupider reasons.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But like, if you really didn't think the moon, people didn't go to the moon, what are you doing with? What else are you doing? What else do you believe doesn't exist? Do dinosaurs not exist? Or are they all fake too?
I've heard that controversy, so I can't really say anything.
Like, do you really have nothing better going on with your life that you have to think that the moon landings were fake? Or
what would they have gained about doing that?
Faking the moon?
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, the only thing really faking it is just going, haha, we got there first before the Soviet Union.
I mean,
but other than that, there's nothing else really to gain from it.
Because I can't see, like, it's not fear mongering, so it wouldn't have done that. And I mean, yes, it was during a time where everybody's kind of...
Yeah, the Red Scare.
Yeah. But I don't see how it would have done any good for anything.
Like I said, it's just people with too much time on their hands who've got nothing better to do.
So, moving on from that, let's look at the first animal in space, named Laika, a Soviet space dog. She became the first living being to orbit Earth in 1957 aboard Sputnik 2. Unfortunately, Laika didn't survive the journey, but her mission provided crucial data that led to human spaceflight. It's hard to imagine now, but Laika's mission was the first step in testing the human body's resilience to space, even if it was with a dog in the cockpit. Then let's look at the moon's impact on pop culture. The Apollo moon landings weren't just historic moments for science, they also had a huge impact on pop culture. Movies, TV shows, and even music were influenced by the space race. For example, in 1969, just after the moon landing, David Bowie released Space Oddity, a song that became iconic in the years that followed.
I mean, can you even think of space travel without imagining Bowie singing "This is Ground Control" to Major Tom? I'm not singing that.
Oh, come on.
No.
Then let's look at the space junk. Did you know that there's an increased amount of space junk? There are thousands of defunct satellites and rocket parts orbiting Earth right now, and it's becoming a huge problem. Scientists are working on ways to clean up the mess. It's like the universe's trash can, just floating around out there. Maybe one day we'll have a space cleaning robot singing happy birthday to itself again, but this time while picking up space debris. And then the dream of commercial spaceflight is actually a reality. Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, and SpaceX are all working to send civilians into space. The first all-civilian crew, Inspiration 4, launched into orbit in September of 21.
Soon you could be booking your own seat to space, just like you book a flight to Paris, just with way more zeros in the price tag.
What do you think about the recent sending of the, what was it, 4 women, 5 women, including Katy Perry?
Yep.
What is your thought on that? Because I mean, they really didn't go out very far. They went out enough to get zero gravity, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they're astronauts, then playing with imaginary race cars makes me a race car driver.
Okay, I mean, I get your logic there.
I know it's just kind of silly, I guess. Like, what was the point?
I really don't think there was one, to be honest with you.
Because if it's be like, oh, women can do the astronaut stuff too. There's been plenty of women who've already been to space and back.
Oh yeah,
Like
the recent ones that just came home.
Like, so what was the point? Who gained it, what from anything out of that?
They gained a new perspective.
On what?
I don't know, but a new perspective. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, nothing like wasting people's money.
Yeah. Of course, we always have the Martian weather report. On Mars, NASA's Curiosity rover has been sending back weather reports since 2012. The rover measures temperature, wind, and even dust storms. Mars's weather is drastically different from Earth, but it's a crucial part of preparing for human exploration. We're literally getting the daily forecast from another planet. I guess partly cloudy with a chance of Martian dust storms is going to be a new thing. So, let's next look at space and time, the theory of relativity. The space travel also forces us to grapple with mind-bending scientific concepts like Einstein's theory of relativity. Time slows down the faster you travel, so astronauts actually age slightly slower than people on Earth the faster they travel through space.
Imagine being an astronaut on a mission and coming back home years later to find out the world has moved on without you. It's not just sci-fi, it's science fact.
I'm not going to lie. I really like the movie Interstellar. Have you seen it?
Nope.
Okay. So in Interstellar, it touches on this quite hard towards the second half of the movie.
Yeah,
You've seen parts of it.
Yeah, clips of it where they're on that planet with the water up to the guy's shins.
Yeah.
And it's like every hour on that planet, it's like a few years on Earth.
Yeah. The thought of that is terrifying to me for some reason. Just, I know that we don't send them out for very long, for like long ass distances like that, but thinking of that and bringing them home and it being, I don't know, a year for them, and for us it's now been 20, and they come back and they have no idea what's going on. Like, that is a terrifying thought to me. Would you think so or no?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that would be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, because if it's a year for them, 20 years for us, like all those things that change in that short time span of 20 years, that time span of 20 years will, I guess, kind of blow their minds.
Yeah.
Compared to what was there when they left.
Right. And I mean, seeing as all the stuff that's been happening since, like, say, for instance, COVID, and that's only been, 5-6 years now? Because it started in 2019. So, yeah, 5 or 6 years now. I mean, the amount of shit that's happened in those short amount of time would be astronomical for 20 years, So, let's also, speaking of Voyager, talk about NASA's golden record. It's a time capsule sent out on both Voyager 1 and 2, containing sounds, music, and greetings from Earth. The idea is that one day some alien civilization might find it. It's like the most ambitious mixtape ever, hoping to leave a lasting impression on any extraterrestrial beings who might stumble upon it, even if they can't understand what we're saying. Then, of course, you've got the Hubble Space Telescope. Hubble revolutionized our understanding of the universe. Since its launch in 1990. It has provided breathtaking images of galaxies, nebulae, and distant stars, and has helped scientists estimate the age of the universe.
It's like the universe's photographer, capturing the most stunning snapshots of deep space that make you wonder if we're really just a tiny speck in an infinite cosmos.
Some of those images are breathtaking. I love when they bring out the new ones. So you had brought up this one, the WOW signal of 1977.
Mm-hmm.
On August 15th of 1977, a radio telescope at Ohio State University's Big Ear Observatory received a powerful 72-second narrow-band radio signal that stood out dramatically from background noise. The signal came from the Sagittarius constellation, and it was so strong and unexpected that astronomer Jerry R. Emin, who was analyzing the data, famously wrote "Wow" in red ink next to it, giving the event its name, the Wow signal. Despite many follow-up attempts over the decades, the signal has never been detected again. The source remains unknown. I mean, it could have been a natural phenomenon, a one-off cosmic event, or, and this is where things get fun, it might have been a message from an extraterrestrial civilization. It's kind of spooky, honestly. A powerful message from deep space that only showed up once and never again. If that's not sci-fi in real life, I don't know what is.
It's like getting a single text from an unknown phone number that just says "Hey" and then nothing ever again.
I've gotten quite a lot of those. And those always frustrate me because I'll be like, who is this? And then I never hear anything. And then I just sit wondering.
Yeah, they probably realized that they texted the wrong number. And then they're like, oh, well, I guess I'll just delete this.
Yeah, and then just never reply again. Kind of like all the Facebook Marketplace messages.
Yeah.
So, how did you learn about this one? Because I didn't know about this one until you told me. Was it just one of your random YouTubes?
Yeah, I think so. It's probably YouTube.
Gotcha. Because, like I said, I hadn't heard about this. This one, the next one's one of my favorite ones. The first cat video in space from 2013. A group of researchers at Cornell University and the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico transmitted the first ever video to be beamed into deep space, and naturally, it was a cat video. The 2-minute video was titled "Hello from Earth" and featured a cat named Tuna, along with a message from the video's creator. It was sent toward star system 55 Cancri, which is located about 40 light years away and is known to have planets in the habitable zone. Why a cat video? Well, partly because cats are basically the internet's mascot, but also because it was a humorous, relatable way to engage the public in a conversation about science. SETI, or the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, and the idea of how we might present ourselves to alien civilizations.
So when aliens finally decide to check us out, their first impression is going to be a cat. And honestly, I think it's perfect.
If they already think Earth is weird, wait till they discover we've dedicated half our internet bandwidth to videos of cat knocking stuff off tables.
They're probably going to think we worship cats.
Or they're not very wrong, though.
Well, that was, yeah, I mean, each culture has their own view on what cats are, but they're probably going to really think that we, like, worship them.
Okay, yeah. So let's move on from science facts to speculation and the space conspiracies and cosmic curiosities. Of course, with every great scientific leap comes a shadow of doubt, or at least a little conspiracy.
Right? I mean, what's space history without a few tinfoil hats? To keep them TV rays going into your brain.
Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, but no, it keeps the government out, remember?
Yeah, sure.
So let's hit back on the moon landing. Probably the most famous space conspiracy of all time. Some believe the Apollo 11 moon landing was staged on a Hollywood set, citing things like no stars in the photos, the American flag waving despite no atmosphere, and shadows that supposedly don't align. In reality, all these points have been thoroughly debunked by science, but it still lingers in popular culture, inspiring films like Capricorn 1 and countless YouTube rabbit holes. Have you been down some of those holes?
Unintentionally.
I feel like once you get on one, it's just that's all your YouTube turns into for a while.
I don't know. My YouTube is just all the same things over and over again.
Maybe that's a conspiracy.
Sure.
Next, let's talk about some secret space programs. Some conspiracy theorists believe that there are hidden military space fleets operated by governments, especially the US, sometimes tied to Area 51, the Secret Space Force, or even ancient alien technology. A bonus theory is that few claim there's already a human colony on Mars operating in secret. If there's a space colony on Mars and no one posted on Instagram, does it even exist?
We should send the cat video there and see if they respond.
Yes. Next, let's talk about the Black Knight satellite. This one is wildly popular in the UFO community. It's said that a mysterious alien-looking satellite has been orbiting Earth for 13,000 years. Some claim it was discovered in NASA images with odd shapes and shadows. The reality is most scientists say it's just space debris or thermal blankets from past missions, but the myth endures. Next, we'll look at alien contact and how everybody thinks it's being covered up. Many people believe SCTI or even NASA has received alien signals but are hiding them from the public. The WOW signal is often used to support this theory, along with mysterious fast radio bursts or FRBs and other unexplained signals. Do you think this one is true? I personally kind of do.
I wouldn't doubt it, but didn't like maybe like a few years ago or whenever it was, the government just straight up said it. Oh yeah, aliens exist.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was like last year or the year before because everybody was panicking all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah.
we already knew this, guys.
Yeah. I think like if they actually like provided proof instead of just being like, oh yeah, they exist, I think some people wouldn't be able to handle that information,
Yeah.
and others will be like, okay, and what's your point? I got more important things to worry about than ET over there.
Who still has not made physical contact.
Yeah, like
Or so we know.
unless he's coming down and buying me a freaking McChicken from McDonald's, I don't care.
Or a beer to talk about it.
Exactly. Whether you believe them or not, these theories are part of what keeps people fascinated with space.
And hey, sometimes science fiction is just science waiting to happen. And of course, space travel has given us some unforgettable moments. From the historic moon landings to the quirky birthday song from Voyager, it's a reminder that even as we venture further into the unknown, our humanity, humor, and creativity remain at the heart of these monumental efforts.
Whether it's through deep scientific exploration or simple messages to the universe, space exploration will continue to shape our future. But one thing's for sure, it'll always have its fun, unexpected moments, and after all that, thanks for wandering through history with us on Echoes of the Past.
If you liked what you heard, subscribe, rate us, and tell that one friend who still quotes fun facts at parties.
And remember, history may repeat itself,
but we promise not to. See you in the next Echo.
Episode Echo, whatever.